How can threat intel help organizations anticipate and mitigate zero-day vulnerabilities and exploits?
Oh, so there's no such thing as being proactive against a specific threat. You can be very fast reactive, but there's no such thing as being proactive against a specific threat. And that's because, once again, today's threat landscape, I don't want to alarm you, but if you've seen my chats before or talks at conventions, threats are commoditized. People will throw everything in the kitchen sink at you these days, and you will not see half of it coming. So being proactive by going through and trying to specifically dodge, say a brick means you're going to miss the lead pipe. Um, and yes, dodgeball reference. Uh, but um, with that in mind, you can be proactive in the sense of your, once again, that operational, that strategic security that's out there. You can look at those larger long-term threats that, or even smaller long-term threats that'll lead on into it. A fantastic example is the Move It attack that came on in through. Uh, a lot of people got hit by that and immediately went through and reacted by patching their systems. Um, some people already were protected from it, not because they hadn't patched their systems, because they didn't know about that specific vulnerability yet, but because they'd gone through and prevented ingress and egress activity to their network by looking at, say, zero trust implications on that, running things like Solarium and such, our cyber defense network with, protecting those specific connections across and understanding that. Like a great example going back in time would be things like Exchange servers, which I know most people have moved on into cloud-based email and stuff like that. People would run an '07 Exchange server because it was bulletproof. It would just run. Updating it would be a pain, yada, yada, yada. And so to be able to run that infrastructure, people would then go throw email security and web security in front of that to prevent that stuff going through. Would it be good to upgrade that and to be at the best point? Yes. I also understand that as IT professionals, you may not have the time, bandwidth, or money to go through and do that. But having the protection in the way, having those multiple layers to be able to go through and understand and be proactive about general security is always good. Always good. There is no silver bullet. There is no platform you can buy that will protect you from everything. And if you can find that, I've got a bridge to sell you. That said, being proactive with these large blanket technologies and then being reactive with, once again, those incident response plans, being able to understand that, hey, stuff will get through, bad things will happen. How do we react when that happens can turn, frankly, a possible big loss into a win for your organization, especially if you're the IT organization, an MSP working for multiple people, or if you're the IT organization for a large company. Because you get those kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't scenarios where if everything goes well for so long, your bosses are going to wonder what they're paying you for because you've clearly been doing nothing because they don't hear from you. There's nothing going wrong. And you can give them reports and stuff, but it isn't until that first breach happens that they'll then start really asking you, what are they paying you for? And that's when you get to prove yourself. Because if that breach happens, if that, connection happens, and you're able to say, hey, we found it, we caught it, there was no loss of data. And you can even send out the delightful report, the one that's required by SEC guidelines now that says you have to say within 2 weeks that you got breached, but deliver the report and go, hey, we did get breached, but it got caught and nothing was lost, is a gold star on anybody's, security operations chart. And frankly, if you're not bringing that up at times to get a bigger budget or bigger bonus, you're doing it wrong.